There's a circle of chairs in the old school gym, coffee cups steaming, stories begin, laughter and tears in the very same breath, talking about lessons, life and what's left. One taught in the 60s, one just 23. Different times, same heart you see. Each one standing tall, giving all their time. Across the years, the chalk dust line. Whoa, the chalk dust line. Do you still sing songs before spelling tests? Do they still write poems when they're feeling blessed? One recalls faces that time can't erase, the shy little dreamer, the class clown's grace. Another shares stories of laptops and screens, but says the same magic lives in their dreams. The tools may fade, but souls align, joined forever by the chalk dust line. From dusty erasers to smartboard light, we still chase wonder in young eyes bright. Every name, every hope we signed still lingers softly in the chalk dust line. So here's to the teachers, retired new, who gave their hearts and kept them true. You taught the lessons that never fade, kindness, courage, the difference made. And when the bell rings one last time, we'll smile across that chalk dust line. The chalk dust line is written in white through seasons of mourning and fading light. The soul of a teacher will always shine, forever bound by the chalk dust line. Yes, time moves on, but the heart's entwined across the years through the chalk dust line.
Hi, here's Curtis Gentry, former teacher at Ironwood High School. Curtis has a story. Go ahead, Curtis.
One of my most memorable moments here at Ironwood High School was during a fall assembly when we were in the gym and they brought the football team in to introduce them to the student, to all the students there at the assembly. And they decided to put the offensive line with helmets and pads down on the gym floor and recruited teachers from the stands, and I was one of them, to also put on a helmet and pads to go against our offensive line. And when they handed the ball off to the student, Jason Daigle, he ran right towards me for the end zone for a touchdown, and my instincts kicked in, and I tackled him, and he didn't get to the end zone, and Coach Esquivel ran over and yelled in my helmet, "You weren't supposed to tackle him." And I'm sorry. And the next day I saw Jason coming down the hall, and I said, hey, Jason. And he goes, no. And good for Jason. He went on to serve our country in the U.S. Army, and thank you for your service, Jason. And that was just a very memorable moment for me. Thanks.
Great story, Curtis. Thanks. Great story. This is Ed Smith. He's been a teacher for 37 years.
I've been to Ironwood. I've been to 36. This will be my 36th graduation coming up this May. And the one talk I remember, Val Barrett talking about the biggest and most important invention ever made was the wheel. Making the wheel wasn't hard. Coming up with the idea was the hard part. And I think I appreciate that message. It's all in your head. Figure it out first, put it together later. So there, I can remember Val Barrett in that graduation talk. All the other ones I can't remember.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Ed. Thanks for sharing that story.
Okay, thank you.
For a couple of years. Well, here we are with Steve Richards, 27 years teaching experience at Ironwood High School in the Peoria Unified District in Glendale, Arizona. Steve just wants to say a word or two to, well, whoever might be listening. All right, Steve, go ahead.
Go Eagles. Great school. Great place. Glad I worked here. Glad all three of my kids went here. Go Eagles.
All right, thanks, Steve. Great share. Well, hi. My name is Pat Thompson, and I have another chalk dust line story to tell. Some of you probably remember the very untidy shenanigans of the Phantom Pooper, who for a short period of time plopped what must have been the results of significant intestinal distress in places on the Ironwood campus not identified as spots for displacement of said plops. Well, the passage of time and a certain amount of mystery associated with who said and did what, and how even the culprit was detected, have led the story to become more in legend than it ever was in real life. So sources tell me. There was indeed a real Phantom Pooper who remained active for a short period of time on campus before being identified and busted by Val Barrett, the Ironwood principal at the time, whose incredible sleuthing, it's reported, led to the pooper's eventual ID and bust. It's another of those incredible stories which I am sure have been embellished by history and it's now become more a myth and a legend than it ever really was. Anyway, just another story in the chalk line dust history of stories. This is the final interview of memorable moment stories by Ironwood High School teachers. And the story was told to me by Beth Joyce, a 40-year teacher in the Peoria Unified School District, who reported that back in the late 1980s, she was designated as a swatting person. Swatting was a form of discipline used to control disobedient, disorderly, disruptive students. And a teacher would go to some swatting room, use a ruler, and swat a student's rear end in an effort to get them to choose to change their behavior, to become more cooperative and obedient. Well, Beth was assigned as a swatter. She didn't want to be a swatter. By education, by temperament, by family culture, she didn't believe in hitting people. But she felt compelled because the principal had appointed her as the swatter. So two girls, the behavior she didn't remember or didn't say, had been her swatter designees. She was assigned to swat two girls. Feeling really uncomfortable, she invited the first girl into the swatting room and she said, listen, I'm going to swear to secrecy. Don't you tell anybody what happens in here. She says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to hit this desk with all my might. You're going to scream as if you've been hit, and we'll let it go at that. And so she did that. She hit the desk with all her might. The people outside and the girl waiting to be swatted was in terror as she listened outside of the room as Beth swatted the desk and the girl screamed. And she also produced some tears and walked out of the room. The next girl came in filled with tears, just feeling scared, and Beth said to her, "Listen, you've got to swear you to secrecy. You can't tell anybody what happened in here." And so she said, "I'm going to hit the desk again, and it'll make a loud noise. You scream, and it'll be over, and that'll be it." So she did that. Beth hit the desk with all her might. Loud sound. The girl screamed, and of course she was already crying because she was afraid of what was going to happen. So she walked out in tears. The story is that those girls never told anybody what happened. They never really got swatted, and Beth felt very comfortable because she had assuaged her conscience and didn't compromise her principles in order to do something that she felt was wrong. So that's an exclusive breaking news story here, probably heard for the first time by anybody in the district, since the girls were sworn to secrecy and they abided by the request. And she said they never had a problem with those girls again. So that's a sweet story from the life of Beth Joyce, and it happened somewhere near the end of the 1980s. Well, that is the final story in our memorable interest teacher stories, interview stories. And so we'll move on now to the end. Thank you for watching the video. It's been fun listening to some of these stories, and we might have more after other events that occur at later times. So that's the chalk dust line. It's part of the chalk dust line. And well, it's about all I have for now. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Across the years, through the chalk dust